Bonjour et bienvenue à Gourmet, the channel where I cook my way through all the cookbooks I own and have never used. This week, we're working with Mastering the Art of French Cooking, where we'll be making pâte au choux, or a choux cream puff dough. Pretty much, we'll be making a couple things with this dough, so yeah, let's get started. To begin, we're going to melt butter into water with salt, pepper, and a pinch of nutmeg. Ignore the potatoes over here. This is for the second part of our experiment, I guess we should say, our recipes. We needed some potatoes, so I figured you guys have seen potatoes boil. You don't need to see those. We'll do that kind of off camera. But we have a cup of water, 6 tablespoons of butter, cut into pieces. I just threw the whole thing in there. I need a teaspoon of salt. And then I need an 1/8 teaspoon of pepper. There we go, that's close enough. And then I need a pinch of nutmeg. Oh, I opened the wrong nutmeg. And a pinch of nutmeg. There we go. Now this is all gonna melt together. So you might not know exactly what this dough is, but if you've had cream puffs or if you've had like churros, that's the dough that we're making. We're just kind of doing it a little differently. What we'll do is once we have this, once we have this made, we're gonna make cheese puffs and we're gonna make gnocchi, these potato gnocchi. I've never heard of them before. I didn't know they were a thing. The only gnocchi I know is the Italian gnocchi. So it'll definitely be interesting. Okay, so all of our butter is melted into our water and our seasonings. Now we're going to add the flour. We're going to add the flour off heat. So I just turned off the burner. And we're going to add all of our, it's 3/4 of a cup of flour. So I've got a 1/2 cup and a 1/4 cup. And we're going to beat this in with our spoon real quick. Definitely coming together really nicely. Not all of it's absorbed, but that's okay. We are getting there. Okay, so we've got that all together. We're going to actually turn the heat back on. And we're going to cook over this heat for a minute or two. It says until a film has formed on the bottom of the pan. But I think this is looking pretty good. I've never made one of these, but we're leaving a slight film on the bottom. So now we're going to add 4 eggs. This we're supposed to do off heat again. So I just turned off the burner. I'm going to kind of move my pan off heat. And we're just going to add 1 egg at a time. So you can still see. So we're just beating this egg in 1 at a time. Our pan might be a little hot because I don't think it's supposed to do that. Kind of cooked the egg. Well, hey, if that's what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. It didn't say to cool it. It just said remove it from the heat. So that's what I did. I guess I didn't make the well like it said to do, but it definitely immediately started to cook when it hits the bottom pan, so I don't know. That feels better. That seems like it's cooking less. It's definitely not the easiest to incorporate, that's for sure. Oh well. Okay, I think we got that egg pretty much all the way in there. We'll make another well. Grab another egg. I know I should be washing my hands in between, but we're just rolling with it, and I'll clean the spoon afterwards. And the book does say that the 3rd and 4th eggs will take a little more to incorporate, like a little more stirring and a little more work. So which is fine. You know, you're kind of making this solid mass a less solid mass again, I guess by adding liquid. But yeah, you can see it's definitely taking a little longer to incorporate than the others. But this feels really nice. This feels stable, which I think is good. I mean, of course, I don't really know what I'm looking for. I've never made one of these. I've just seen them be made on TV. Which is really the extent of my culinary experience. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I've seen stuff on TV. Okay. And one last egg. And then our pâte choux is ready to be used. So that's really simple, really easy. I don't think this is really hard at all. Definitely something to make in the future, and I can see where if you wanted to flavor the dough, that would be easy too. Let me take care of my potatoes. Now this last egg is definitely taking a little bit to blend in. Even you guys can see that. I hope I'm still in frame. I think I am. Like that one really took a long time to come in and come together, but we've got it. Whew. It's honestly more of a workout than I thought it would be. That got kind of tough there at the end. But this feels nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and split this and get ready for our next recipes. And I'll wash my hands. So what we've done is we've kind of split our choux dough in half. I did measure it, so this is just about a cup. And what we need is, we are going to need half a cup of grated Swiss or Swiss and Parmesan cheese. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I did not feel great like grating cheese today. I truly could not be bothered to do this. So I cheated. I'm struggling opening it because it knows I cheated. But this is what I'm using. Just bought it from the grocery store. It's just a shredded cheese. It's a shredded Parmesan. So we'll go ahead and add half a cup of this. This recipe technically takes 2 cups of choux dough and a cup of cheese, but we're cutting it in half because I didn't think it was necessary to make 40 cheese puffs. I thought, 20 will probably do. So I'm going to go ahead and just measure out half a cup of cheese. And if more falls in, more falls in. We all know I love cheese, so it's not going to hurt anybody to have some extra cheese in there. There is that. And we are going to go ahead and just mix these guys together. Our oven is at 425, and so we're going to end up piping these onto a prepared sheet pan and putting them in the oven for, well, gosh, I don't know. We'll have to read. For 20 minutes, and then bumping the temperature down and baking them at 375 for 10 or 15 minutes more. So that is what we're going to do. I am going to prepare our sheet pan, and I'll be right back. Here's our prepared, what's it called, sheet pan. I've got our dough in a piping bag, just a regular cake decorating piping bag that I have. It said to butter the pan, so that's what I went ahead and did. That burner's a little hot, so all that instantly melted. So we're just going to do this up in the air. These are going to be impossible to pipe, but here's the shape we're going for. So we've just bumped the oven down to 370 for our puffs in the oven. We've gone ahead, drained our potatoes. It says to use a potato ricer to rice them. I don't have one of those. I just have a potato masher, so that's what I went ahead and did. And now we're going to add the rest of our choux dough into the potatoes. Now my potatoes have been sitting a little bit here because the book specifically says to cook them for another minute or two and let them dry out. So instead of cooking them, I just kept them in the hot pan that they were in and let them dry out that way. Now we're gonna stir in our choux dough. We also want to add some cheese to this. We want to add a third of a cup grated Parmesan or Swiss. So this is my grated Parmesan. I just bought this. I don't know. It was in the cheese section, so I went ahead and bought it. And we're just going to mix all this together. Our cheese puffs in the oven have just about 7.5 more minutes. So I think we'll get all of this incorporated in time, but that's where we'll have to stop to take those guys out. It looks pretty well incorporated. Our cheese, our pâte choux, and our potatoes. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some spoons and roll them. We're gonna take like dessert spoons and kind of put the potatoes into a ball and then roll them in flour just so they kind of hold their shape. We'll do that in a minute here. This is still incredibly hot, so I'm gonna let it cool down for a little bit. I don't think that's gonna matter. Okay, so we just took our cheese puffs out of the oven. This is what they look like. Ooh, you can they almost fell. We'll pick a pretty one. We'll pick this one. So you can see it's got a nice color to it. It's got a nice brown bottom. It looks a lot more brown than it is on camera. What we did before we stuck them in the oven, I forgot to show this, but we brushed them with egg and then sprinkled some grated Parmesan cheese on top. They are just out of the oven, but they smell really good. We're gonna go ahead and bite into one. Oh. These are good. Yeah, I have no complaints. The inside cheese is even like a little melty. I really like these. Welcome back. So like I said, we're about ready to roll these potatoes. And I know it's not an overhead shot, but I'm just going to be rolling them by hand. So I thought you didn't really need to see that. We've seen that before. But if you want it, let me know in the next one. I'll do it. But we're just going to spoon these potatoes. It says a dessert spoon, and it says like 2.5 by 1 inch. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna lightly flour the surface and roll into something. What? I don't know. But we're gonna... This? Maybe. It's probably longer than 2 inches by a little bit. It looks kind of like a finger, but that's what we're gonna call it. I'm gonna do a whole bunch more of those. I'm gonna get a plate because I forgot that. As I spread flour all through my kitchen now. That's still pretty hot. And I'm just sitting them on a plate over here. I'm gonna go ahead and roll another one for you guys, but I'm not gonna make you watch all this. I don't even know if I'm gonna roll all this. This is a lot of potato. Like I said, I might have used a little too much potato, but I went by the number of potato instead of the weight, and I probably should have gone by the weight, but that's okay. But these, I don't know, do they resemble kind of Italian gnocchi, just a lot larger? That's what I think we're supposed to do. I will see you guys when all of these are finished. So I don't know how well you can hear me, so I'm just going to try to talk pretty loud because the microphone died, but we're ready to move on, and there's no way to fix that right now. But our water is boiling. We're going to just kind of bump it down a little bit to a simmer. We want it to simmer, and we're going to go ahead. I didn't roll out all the potatoes. I didn't want to. I stopped halfway through. It's really just me. And I thought, this is already a lot of potato. So I have the others in the fridge, and we'll find something to do with them. But we're going to go ahead and throw these guys in there. The book says they're going to take about 20 minutes to cook, and the water should be at a simmer the entire time. So that's just what we're going to do. You can see we're just popping them in there. But I will see you guys when these are finished in about 20 minutes. And then we can do our final preparation of covering a couple with cheese and broiling in the oven. We had a slight issue. You can see that the water's no longer clear. It turned out it boiled on accident while I was off doing chores. So all of our original gnocchi disintegrated. So these are the ones we have that I just cooked. I didn't do them for the full 20 minutes because I was once again worried that they were going to disintegrate. So I did them for like 10 minutes. I mean, I don't think they're cooked all the way, but weren't they already cooked? I don't know. They were floating, so I took it like a regular gnocchi. Sure. But what we're going to do is I have a little prepared dish here, and we're just going to plop those in there, cover them with butter, cover them with cheese, and broil them real quick. Now, the book... Ooh. That is hot and slimy. The book did say to dry them on like a paper towel or something before doing this step, so that's why I did it that way. So this is what it looks like before it goes in the oven. I'm going to put it in the oven. It says to broil it. I think I'm going to bake it for like 5 minutes and then broil it. But I will show you guys the end result. Well, we're finished. So it's still a little hot. But, okay, maybe it's a little more than a little hot. But these are what the gnocchi look like finished. Sorry for the weird view. I'm making sure the microphone's charging, and this is the best I could do. But yeah, these are the gnocchi. They got, you can kind of see, I know it's not the best. I apologize. This video is really falling apart here at the end. But we broiled them a little bit in the oven. We got the cheese all nice and melted. So I'm gonna go grab a spoon because I left it over there. And let's try one of these. So here's our bite. It's mashed potato. I don't know what makes this so special. And it's plain mashed potato. If I had read further in the cookbook and realized what I was doing, there's suggestions on what to add to these to make them a lot more flavorful. So things like parsley or ham or any mushrooms, anything like that. So if I were to make these again, that's what I would do, but I really don't think so. I can buy the Italian version of the gnocchi for probably just as much as I bought all the ingredients for these for, and they're way easier. Now, the cheese puffs, these, so good. I would happily make these again. I would make a cream puff version of those. No problem with those at all. So I guess the cheese puffs does get, what, like a 9 out of 10? Only because I know myself, I don't want to pipe all this. If someone else was piping them for me, great, perfect. But it wasn't hard. The gnocchi, like a 6, I guess, of 7. It feels wrong to rate it a 7, but really the ingredients weren't hard to find. The recipe was super easy to follow. Yes, I did mess it up, but that's user error and not necessarily recipe error. The recipe told me what to do. I just got sidetracked and forgot to double check it. So maybe a 6.5. I don't know. They're just so plain and just blah and not great. Like a 5 feels wrong, but a 5 is in my heart. Let's be honest. Just because I don't really like mashed potatoes. But the recipe's overall super easy to do. I didn't have really any issues. The ingredients were easy to find. I barely had to buy any ingredients. I really bought most of the ingredients for the gnocchi
because I had to buy the potatoes. But I pretty much owned almost everything else. Now the cheese I did go buy special, but I already owned cheese in the fridge that I was going to use. I just got inspired. Yeah, so I think a 9 for the cheese puffs, a 6.5. I'm going to go back and forth on this for days. For the gnocchi, but yeah, I would make the cheese puffs again. I wouldn't make the gnocchi again. I don't think it was a fail, but we definitely learned something. And I'd never seen this kind of gnocchi before, so I had to try it. And I'm not mad that I did. It just wasn't as good as I wanted. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Au revoir.